Hi everybody and Shabbat Shalom. I'm really happy to be able to give this week's Torah, and I'm really glad we can still continue our Shabbat traditions even through this quarantine and such a crazy time. So I'm going to discuss this week's Parsha Vayikra, and I'm going to talk about for a bit how this Parsha pertains to everyone, not only in terms of Judaism, but also in terms of bringing up values that we as people should strive to live our lives by. So I was actually really happy to get this Parsha specifically because I believe the whole idea behind it is so crucial throughout Judaism and throughout life generally as well. So in Parsha Vayikra, God calls to Moses to explain to the sons of Israel, or the Jews, the ways of bringing offerings to God. He then goes into detail about the specific offerings and what each different offering may represent. So why are these offerings and sacrifices so important? Well, aside from the foremost reason being to show compliance toward God, the other reason for this is to make atonement. So why is atonement important, you may ask? In my opinion, it shows that people are not perfect and are willing to admit it. And that's the hardest part. Atoning or asking for forgiveness, it gives you a sense of humility where you're essentially admitting that you did something wrong and saying, yeah, I messed up. And it's more about just making others feel better. Asking for forgiveness allows you not only to, just try to make people feel better, but it also allows you to not allow your pride to get in the way of your compassion. This idea really resonates with me personally. I'm going to be honest, I can be a little stubborn sometimes, and especially when I'm passionate about something that I feel or think is true. So when I do realize that I've made a mistake and have done something wrong, apologizing or asking for forgiveness can be very humbling. So I think overall, this Parsha really highlights the idea that it can be pretty difficult to show your humility and take responsibility of your wrongdoings, but it is so important to do so in life. Now, something else that has always put me in awe about Judaism is how forgiving our God is, in that you can do so much wrong, but as long as you make the effort to atone for those things and to ask for forgiveness, we are taught that God will grant you that forgiveness. Which brings me to my second point. This Parsha exemplifies how forgiving God can be by showing us that by making sacrifices and making an effort to atone and ask for that forgiveness, He will forgive us. So this Parsha also continuously allows God to set an example for us, whether it be as Jews or as people in general. Like God, we need to always make the effort to choose the higher path and grant people forgiveness who ask for it, not only for their sake, but for our own as well. Hopefully, this can all give everybody something to think about throughout this Shabbat, and we can carry it not only through this Shabbat, but with us throughout our lives. So I hope everyone has a wonderful Shabbat and weekend, and I hope you all continue and stay safe and healthy and happy, and don't get too lonely during your quarantine. So have a great weekend and Shabbat Shalom.